We both love comic books.
Yes, we grew up with different comic books, though.
I mean, I was introduced to Marvel and DC, but I only really attached myself to DC, and as a result, I know, like, really, really old Marvel stuff, and modern stuff I only know DC.
So I grew up on Marvel stuff. It was Spider-Man, X-Men, Excalibur.
So you know more Marvel.
Yep.
To this day.
And you know more DC.
Yeah, so we decided, wouldn't it be fun to describe a character we were pretty positive the other one had never heard of, except physical, and then have the other one try to come up with what they think that character looks like.
Yeah.
First up was you.
Yes, you chose Professor Pig. Here's the only stuff I know about Professor Pig. He's a Batman villain.
Yeah.
His name is short for Pygmalion, which is referred to the mythical sculptor who fell in love with his own creation. He's an obsessive perfectionist who sees human beings as broken individuals. He commonly kidnaps people and uses surgery and chemicals to permanently change them into mind-controlled automatons called Dolatrons. And he has a makeshift mother made of nails and boards from which he associates auditory hallucinations, commanding him to constantly improve his surgical work.
Yep.
That's all I know.
So I'm somewhat aware of, like, Batman villains. Like, I've seen all the movies, I've seen the animated series, I've read a couple of comics. I've never run across this character.
He has been live action. I think he was in Gotham. He was in something fairly recent that we didn't watch.
The Baby Bat Gotham?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, we didn't see that.
No. But, so he has existed in modern, whatever, recently enough.
He's in like a noir-y Batman. I could definitely see him fitting in there. Not so much with the goofy mask I put him in, but he's Professor Pig. Like, you gotta theme him up.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's got a whole, like, barnyard of villains.
I mean, you're not wrong. And I'll show you what he looks like at the end, but
I can't wait.
I mean, what were you going for? What was the vibe?
I admit I kind of just, a lot of it was inspired by Dr. Hugo Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Just the whole, like, doctory aspect.
A lot of doctors in Batman, in general. Professors and doctors.
Yeah, I tried to put him in more, like, surgical gear, and then his name's Pig, so I was like, I'll put him in a pig mask. It seems, like, knowing nothing else about the character, I'm just like, that's the lowest common denominator. Pig mask making pretty people.
Which is fair. I will say he doesn't really make pretty people. He wants perfection, but it's a lot of, like, androgyny, but also just creepy. The Dolatrons are really kind of gross.
Not.
Yeah, because they're like, I don't know. It's all the same doll mask for everybody.
The other thing I know about that's in a similar vein is in, what's his name? In Undefeatable with the Mark Miller comic. Invincible.
Ah.
In the Invincible comic, there's, like, a young scientist who's trying to make, like, perfect people, cyborg automatons.
Yeah.
And they're just monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much. And Professor Pig can be pretty disturbing because the people before they're changed, they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
They're very aware of what's going on.
Oh, they're awake during.
Until it happens.
Mm.
You know, they're usually just, like, strapped up somewhere and then...
Well, I got the straps right then.
Yeah. No, this is actually very accurate, you'll see.
Oh, really?
More accurate than you realized.
Huh. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, on the one hand, that's very cool. On the other hand, I realize how Batman villains are a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, they just are.
Like, if you told me Professor Pig was a Spider-Man villain, he'd be corpulent.
Yeah.
Because that would fit more.
Yeah. They're theming elements to each of them.
But yeah, Batman does a lot of doctors.
A lot of doctors.
Harley Quinn's a doctor.
Yeah.
Freeze is a doctor.
Pamela Isley is also
Isley's
a doctor. No, everybody's fucking doctor.
Everybody's a doctor.
They all got doctorates and they're all just running around angry.
Shouldn't commit crime. I can't afford my student loans.
You know?
Yeah.
The world would be different. Gotham would be different if no one had any student loans.
It came out very cartoony.
Yeah, but
The shading helps, but the initial is very
based
funny
on a
pages.
comic. I mean,
Well, it's funny pages. There's different.
Yeah, different levels of cartoony.
Yeah. There's not in the style of the animated series or the movies. This is like, I don't know.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
That's alright though.
It's more Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Which was also a very dark comic, all things considered.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles Saturday morning cartoon, I should say, because the
Yeah.
comic was fucking dark.
Very violent and very, like... I'm still impressed that they made it a kid show. Because, you know...
It's very impressive that something that was just taking the piss out of Daredevil
Yeah.
became a media empire all on its own.
Yeah. I wonder how many people loved the cartoon and then wound up seeing the comic and they got, like, upset about it. Same thing with, like, The Mask. If you love
How
the
many
Jim
parents
Carrey...
bought their kids Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle
Yeah.
comics, not realizing, like... Well, because they did come out with the kids' version of the comics later, because they merchandised the shit out of that cartoon.
Yeah, but, same thing with The Mask. Jim Carrey's The Mask versus, like, Stan Lapkus in the comics. It's a very different world.
Yeah.
Professor Pig, though, you're not going to be seeing him in... I mean, he's been in lots of cartoons, but he's still Professor Pig.
I've never seen him.
He's... well, he's still a fairly recent character. Yeah, he's dark either way. He's not a fun guy. So this was your Professor Pig.
That was my Professor Pig.
And I'm going to go ahead and show you what he looks like.
Yeah,
in the
show me
comics.
Professor Pig. Well, okay then.
You were pretty close.
I was pretty close. I had thought about doing a butcher smock bow tie, but I'm like, he's a professor.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's got the mask. It's usually a half mask.
I got the color scheme right. Jesus
And-
Christ.
and even-
the blue, the teal, and the white.
And even the fact that it's a half mask, not
Yeah.
a full one. And the Dollatrons are just...
Oh, yeah, they don't look good.
No, they're gross. They're
Perfect,
gross.
you say.
Yeah. And sometimes he's heavier and sometimes he's not.
Yeah, but he's not the corpulent is a different
No.
thing.
But he's always very full of himself. And
I am amazed I got as much right as I did.
you were extremely close. In Gotham, they made him scarier because they gave him a stitched up mask.
Yeah.
But, like, that was because...
They also inverted his smock.
Yeah. But otherwise, he would have looked kind of cartoony.
Yeah.
So, you were actually pretty spot on.
Yay me.
I'm impressed by that. And I like your version. Because, again, it's very spot on. You did it. And you handed me Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Arcade is from Marvel Comics, rather than DC. And he's a combination evil genius and hitman who carries out his assassinations via various elaborate traps, often referred to as Murder World.
Mm-hmm.
He appears to be a comedic character, and that's part of his overall theme, which extends to his preferred method of murder. An underground funhouse of colorful death traps, disguised as an amusement park.
Yep.
And for the price of $1 million.
Yeah, inflation happened since he was
Ah.
introduced. This
So
is
more than
like
that?
it's a little Dr. Evil-y now, and it's like,
Yeah.
$1 million. Like, I don't think that would cover the expenses anymore.
No. But for some enormous amount of money, he will tailor Murder World. Murder World, that's very funny. To exploit the specific weaknesses of his targets, and then watch as they are killed by a variety of colorful death traps. However, one of his gimmicks is that he always deliberately leaves each target a small chance of survival, so there's always a little bit of hope.
Yeah, it's a little bit Saw, but like with exploding pies.
Yeah. So, that's all I know about him. So you'll see here, I went a different direction than...
It's a lot of detail.
Yeah. Because I thought, like, okay, arcade. Like, what do you do in an arcade? And there's some games where you have, like, the gun, and I
Oh,
thought
I would like that.
other game stuff he does. So he's got sort of a power
Oh,
glove.
oh
and
no, you're gonna be so disappointed.
He's just a guy, isn't he?
You're gonna be so
Is he just a
disappointed.
guy? I gave him a claw hand, like from one of the claw machines.
Yeah, you give the Nintendo Power Glove.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be so disappointed. Yours is super cool.
He's got a face that is just like a screen.
Yeah.
And I thought about doing like a Tetris block in his shoulder, but I didn't wind up doing that. I do give him like tickets, like across his body. He's got some tickets, and yeah, I wanted his whole head to look like a machine, like a an arcade machine, because he's arcade. So you got some Tetris blocks, which I think have like compartments in them, like how Batman has his utility belt.
I was
think
gonna say like that
yeah,
in his utility belt.
each of those open up and they do different things. Because you said that he controls things from like a...
He's in a control room essentially.
Yeah.
He's not the kind of guy who will head on anyone.
Yeah, so, like, why wouldn't he just have the control system, like, on him? Like, he just has the buttons on him, was my logic.
He's had remote controls and stuff. It's just like, it's never been, like, his theming is all in the zone of Murder World. He himself is just, he's so much lamer than what you're drawing.
I even gave him a coin slot on his chest. I don't know what that's for. But
Now, this is something that would be in Murder World.
oh.
And
Okay.
there's actually a couple of Murder World comics with Arcade you would like, because there's Alice in Wonderland theming.
That is cool.
When he gets hired to kill Captain Britain's girlfriend specifically, it's all Alice in Wonderland themed. So she's dressed as Alice, there's an executioner, and there's a queen who's screaming off with her head.
There's a lot of Alice in Batman, and they don't generally work together, oddly enough, because there is a Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and there's obviously Mad Hatter and Humphrey Dumpler,
Yep.
and there is a White Rabbit.
And they do not interact.
They very, like, I think a couple of them interact sometimes, but, like, not consistently, which is very funny.
Arcade's like, because he has automatons in his thing, and like,
Yeah.
he'll even make robots that can mimic mutant powers for when he's fighting the X-Men. So his automatons are like hugely, like they're on the grade of Doombots.
So that's cool. I tried to simplify him a little bit, because he was going to be so complicated, but then so he's got,
I like your,
boots.
I like your
Because his name's
bowling.
Arcade!
bowling alley carpet. I'm not arguing with you. You're doing a lot of great design work, and it's going to be real sad when you see what this boring ass motherfucker looks like.
I don't know what I was doing here with this, everything with his chest. It's like a, laser tag vest.
Yeah,
I don't know what the joystick is for in his shoulder.
it's probably a grenade.
But, like, this is what I went with. And it's not a belt. Just on his stomach, I guess, is the invaders. Space invaders.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got the tickets. And maybe they do something, I don't know. Maybe they're just decorations. His belt is also tickets. I had a lot of fun with this. And I think that Marvel should hire me to fix this character. Who is clearly, if it's not this, he's wrong and needs an overhaul.
I wouldn't be against Arcade being somewhat reimagined. I like the Murder World concept, though, because it's a
Yeah.
fun place to stick a hero.
And I like that idea.
I don't know how many people are actually hiring this guy, though, because part of his, like, thing is he always leaves them... his games are unfair, but there's always a way to win.
Yeah. Because it's a game.
Yeah.
Because
So
he's
it's-
arcade.
yeah, it's rigged like a carnival game, but there's still... you can win if you're skilled and smart enough. And it's just like, I can't imagine who's hiring a guy being like, kill him if you can.
There's a prize counter. I gave him a prize counter because his name's Arcade.
Yeah, that's not part of Murder World.
Why not?
I don't know. I didn't design Murder World.
His name's Arcade.
His name's Arcade.
I'm so bothered. But I had fun with the coloring.
I like the purple highlights.
Thank you. And that's my version of Arcade. So now you have to show me...
Okay, now I have to show you what Arcade looks like.
Yeah, you have to tell me the truth.
Are you ready to be completely underwhelmed?
I am. I even did different versions of Arcade. Like...
There's really... Nah, he's kind of unchanged. That's Arcade.
Oh, he's just a guy in a suit.
He's just a guy with a green bow tie, red hair. He puts his face up on stuff, but like...
I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound rude. He has red hair and a suit and a cane and are we sure he's not just the Riddler?
He's very Riddler-esque.
What year did Arcade come to life? I want to know what year he happened versus what year the Riddler happens.
Alright, let's see.
Just out of my curiosity. Out of my DC brain curiosity.
1978.
Okay, so Arcade's
Let's see.
1978.
DC, Riddler, 1948. So 30 years apart.
Uh-huh.
So to go more on that, because do you remember the animated series where Riddler sets up the maze for
Yeah.
Batman with like all the
With
Greek myth?
The hand of...
Yeah, that he was just doing an Arcade. That's all Arcade does.
Oh.
That's his entire shtick, is just making that maze over and over and over again, but for the X-Men and Excalibur and Spider-Man. It's somewhere underground in New York, or near New York, because that's where he's always capturing people. one of those interesting pieces of technology, and a villain who's more into villainy would be much better at this. They have a garbage truck that a tube comes out and goes kersplunk on the hero, and then they're knocked out until they're in Murder World.
Okay.
It's just like a one-hit knockout button for every superhero.
You know, on the one hand, I was making a ha-ha about the fact that you just were able to figure out Professor Pig, because Batman villains are like that. Killer Croc looks like he should look, and Baby Doll looks like she should look, and like Joker is Joker. Even when you do neat things to him, he's still just the Joker.
Yeah.
But then you handed me Arcade, so I made him Arcade, and that's not what he's just the Riddler. But see, the Riddler looks like the Riddler.
He's just the Riddler doing one part of the Riddler shtick.
Right. Yeah, I'm mad about it. Anyway, this is my final version, and you see it's different than the other version because it's yellow. And I think he stands out better.
It does. It helps with the purple. I like your Arcade.
Thank you. I think we need to write to Marvel.
How dare you?
This didn't help my I like DC. Like,
what's your favorite little known comic character? Comment below.
Tell us in the comments.
Rock on.
Rock on.